Title: The Last Inn. Liam and Emma, a young couple from New York, decided to take a road trip across the United States. They wanted to enjoy the beauty of nature and seek new experiences. However, that night, heavy rain poured as they drove through a deserted road in a remote village in Pennsylvania. Lightning occasionally struck in the distance, illuminating the dense forest surrounding them. Their GPS directed them to a small inn called Evergreen Inn, not far from where they were. As soon as they arrived, the inn felt unsettling. The old Victorian-style building stood tall under the flashes of lightning, as if harboring long-buried secrets. The receptionist, an elderly man named Harold, greeted them with a stiff smile and a hoarse voice. "You're the first guests in a long time," he said, his eyes weary and his skin pale. Liam and Emma were given a room on the second floor. They ascended the creaky wooden stairs, each step echoing eerily. The dimly lit corridor sent shivers down their spines. An old chandelier swayed slightly, as if something unseen had touched it. Entering their room, they noticed the antique interior. Thick crimson curtains covered the large window, coated with dust. In the corner of the room stood a large mirror with an ominous, intricately carved frame. As the night deepened, Liam quickly fell asleep, exhausted from the journey, but Emma remained restless. A faint, rustling noise came from the mirror, as if something was moving behind it. At exactly 2 in the morning, Emma saw the reflection of a woman in Victorian-era attire standing within the mirror, staring at her with hollow eyes and a sinister grin. The woman whispered in a soft, eerie voice, "Help me." Emma gasped and shook Liam awake, but when she pointed at the mirror, the figure had vanished. Liam dismissed it as exhaustion-induced hallucinations and urged her to go back to sleep. However, the creaking sounds outside their room persisted, as if someone was pacing the hallway. Summoning her courage, Emma peeked into the corridor and saw Harold standing at the far end, staring at her blankly. But something was off. His feet weren't touching the floor. He was floating. Emma screamed, and at that moment, their room lights flickered before going out. The air around them turned ice cold. Liam and Emma hurriedly grabbed their belongings and dashed out of the room. But the once straight corridor had transformed into a twisting labyrinth. The paintings on the walls seemed to watch them with lifeless eyes. Every door they opened led them back to their own room. Panicked, Liam banged on the walls and screamed for help, but only their echoes replied. Suddenly, the large mirror in their room shattered, and from within emerged the decayed figure of the Victorian woman. Her long, skeletal hands reached for Emma, gripping her shoulders with an inhuman force. "You will never leave this place," she whispered into Emma's ear. Liam desperately tried to pull his wife away, but an unseen force was dragging her into the mirror. At that moment, Harold appeared at the doorway. "It's too late," he said flatly. "The inn needs new souls every year." Liam screamed and fought back, but the harder he resisted, the stronger the mirror's pull became. Their reflections grew fainter and fainter until finally they vanished entirely into the now perfectly intact glass. The next morning, Evergreen Inn stood as tranquil as ever. Harold stood behind the reception desk, a cold smile on his face. In the guest book, 2 new names had been added, Liam and Emma. And in room 207, the large mirror reflected the trapped souls of the young couple, screaming silently. Outside, the rain had stopped, and the sun bathed the small village in warm light. But inside the inn, the curse remained, waiting for its next unsuspecting guests to become part of Evergreen Inn's dark history.